Transposing means playing in a different key. So a key is a scale that starts on a different note on the keyboard. So every tune can be played in every key. So here's Amazing Grace in C. But that can be played in G, so. Or in F. So it sounds right in any key, but what you have to do, as you probably saw, I started to have to play some black notes. So you have to learn the rules as to which black notes are needed for different keys. The only way to really avoid playing black notes is if you play in the key of C, then standard songs and standard melodies in the key of C only use the white notes, which is, and the standard chords are C, D minor, E minor, F and G, and A minor. So that's the easiest key to play in on a keyboard. So transpose then is a useful tool if you want to shortcut your playing so that you don't need to spend lots of time learning the rules as to which keys have got which black notes in them. What you can do is just play in the key of C and spend that same time that you've saved on improving your playing style. So most electronic keyboards have a transpose button on them. Sometimes it's not shown, like this keyboard here. This is the Piaggio in the Yamaha range. This hasn't got a transpose button shown, but if you check the owner's manual, you can normally just Google it and it comes up. It's got a hidden transpose where you hold down a couple of the buttons. Now this varies for the different keyboards. So the NP12, which is the later version of this one, you just hold down one button. I think it's the metronome one. On this one, you have to hold down the demo and the metronome button. But effectively, so just, it all does the same job. So on this one, actually I've not used this one for a long time. I'm trying to remember which key. Oh, it's this one here, right. On the MP12, it changes around that area here. On this one, you hold down the demo and the metronome button, and you press notes around at the middle C button. So if you want to transpose up by half a note, then you would hold down those two buttons and press that one. And then if you want to go higher, so say I want to transpose up to this note here. So, whereas if we go back to the original. So I'm playing the exact same notes here, but the pitch at which it comes out of the keyboard varies based upon which of the keys I transpose it into. Okay, so why is that useful? Well, if you're playing along and a person is singing, or you're playing with other people, then they might well want to play in a certain key. Now your choice is either to play in that exact same key, but that might involve then learning lots of the rules as to which black notes. So for example, if a person is playing in G, but it's capo 1, what that means in effect is that's a G, but they're capo 1, so they're now a G sharp, which is the same as an A flat. So they're playing here now. So you would have to play lots of these black notes and actually know which black notes are in the scale of that, and it's a lot trickier than just playing in G or even in C. So your options would be, if a song is being played in G on capo 1, then you could transpose up by half a note and play the chords as they're written in G. So to transpose up by half a note. On this type of keyboard, which doesn't have the display with the +1, what you'd have to do is go from C is the standard pitch, and you go +1 up from C. So it doesn't matter which key you'll actually play the song in. If you're transposing 1 up, then it's always from this as your starting point. So so we want to play a G note but make it sound like that. So we transpose there, half a note up, and now press that. And that now is the same as it sounded when it was in normal pitch. So now we can play our standard chords, G, C, D, and it's actually playing an A flat, a D flat, and an E flat when it comes out of the keyboard. Now, what we could also do, because if you're playing it in the key of G on capo 1, you're effectively playing an A flat, so I'll just reset that now. So that's the standard G. So that would sound in A flat then. Now what we can also do is go down from C. So if we want to play the chords in C, so not read the chords in G, if we can transpose our chord sheet to put it in C, then we could transpose down 1, 2, 3, 4, and play a C chord, and it will sound an A flat. So there's two choices. We either play in G and transpose up half and it becomes an A flat, or we play a C and transpose down by 4 and that becomes an A flat. So to transpose down, we hold the two buttons down, press that note, and that now is an A flat chord. So the only reason why you might want to do that is if you're very comfortable playing in the key of C, then what you can do is transpose into all the keys and still play in C. So that's a bit of a shortcut there. So I'll just reset that back to normal. So if you have the other type of keyboard which has the display and a plus and minus button, often it's on the function. You press function and then up and down until you see transpose written, and then you have the option of transposing up by half notes. So +1 would play in that key. If you press a C, it would sound like that. And if you did the -4, then as you press those keys, it would sound like that. Now, if you don't have a transpose function on your keyboard, or if you're playing on an acoustic piano, then obviously you cannot use a transpose button. So the only way then to actually transpose into a different key is to play in a different scale. So that means that you need to learn the rules as to what the different black notes are used in each of the different scales. If you're playing at parties, I tend to find that it's possible to actually get away with just playing in the key of C and the G, for example, or G and D. If you just play in a couple of keys, if people are singing along, normally that's close enough. If it's a group of people singing, then there probably isn't a perfect key to play it in, because everyone's voice is a bit different. But usually if the song is too high or too low in say the key of C, then if you play it in the key of G, normally that would be close enough. But if you want to learn playing a couple of scales, that can be useful if you're playing on an acoustic piano. Of course, if you want to learn more than 2, then that's fine. So the 2 that I would recommend first of all is obviously C is the easiest one to play in, and then G, which just has one black note, which is the F, is an F sharp. So the scale in G is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Then if you wanted to learn any more, what you could do, say D and A, could be other useful keys to play in.